You are listening to Season 2 of The Diary of a Wannabe Writer, the short and often daily podcast in which I chronicle my life and attempt to be a writer by writing daily. Sometimes. Hello, today's Thursday, the 25th of September, 2025, and you're listening to The Diary of a Wannabe Writer. I think I recorded yesterday's podcast at about 8 o'clock at night. I can't remember. And I talked about how I'd done, well, I kind of just made the time, fill the time with kind of waffle, really. I do that every time. I don't know why I'm trying to say that's unique to yesterday. But I went to bed not long after I recorded the podcast, deliberately because I had to get up at 5:30 the next morning. And I have the last couple of days been waking up a bit later and a bit later and a bit later. And it's always really difficult when you wake up later to then go to bed and wake up earlier, because basically you go to bed and your brain goes, no, you've only been out of bed for 11 or 12 hours. You shouldn't be tired yet. So you're not going to sleep. It says it literally like that. I've got a very, very sarcastic subconscious. It sounds a bit like Stuart Lee. Anyway, so I went to bed and tried to avoid looking at the internet and looking at apps and all that kind of stuff. And it was like 9:30 by the time I stopped doing that. And I've actually got, you might have seen it advertised on Facebook, I've got this thing called Padlock. And basically you can lock your phone and it stops you looking at any apps that you don't want to look at until you physically touch it with a physical object in the shape of a padlock that unlocks them again. Or you can give it 12 hours notice that you want to unlock it all in 12 hours, but you can't just basically turn the apps off and then suddenly turn them back on again. And I always leave the physical object, which looks like a padlock, downstairs. And finally last night I thought, I've got this thing, I never used it, right, block the apps. And I did, I blocked the apps. And it was quite good. I actually managed to get some sleep. But then I woke up at about 2:30. Probably earlier than that, actually. Knowing I had to get up at 5:30. And my brain just went, no, you're not sleeping now. No, absolutely no way. What are you thinking? And at that point, I realised, whilst I'd be fine for work today, I would be really tired for when I had to drive home, and then I had to drive back the following morning, which is tomorrow morning, to do my airport standby. So I decided at about 2 a.m, technically today, but overnight last night, 2 a.m, no, book a hotel because you're going to be knackered. So I booked it. Well, I tried to book it, but the one I normally stay in was full. So I had to book a different one, which is about 3 miles away. So I basically did my shift at work today. It was absolutely fine. Nice little team, nice little crew. Flew to Gibraltar and back. And the flight crew said this is a really nice approach. So if anybody wants to come into the flight deck for landing, this is a good one to do. And I thought, yeah, that sounds good. It was gorgeous. So we started off with the rock, Gibraltar, just on our right. And it's the bit that's just a rock. So we flew round it, and as you got closer, we got lower. It was stunning because you literally almost fly completely round it to approach the runway on the other side. And by the time you land, it's a very short runway, so you have to brake really sharply. You're really low as you come over the water, and I could see, you're flying over ships, and you can see people walking around on the deck. I almost wanted to wave at them, but so that was really cool. So flew back from that. Then I got to, so there's a car park we get at work, that we have at work for parking in when we're working. And it's very close to a bus stop. So I thought, well, rather than, there's two, am I going to explain this? Yeah, there's 2 car parks, a short haul one and a long haul one. The short haul one where I parked today isn't the one I'm talking about, but the long haul one has a good convenient bus stop on the other side of it to get to the Premier Inn that I'm staying in tonight, which is the 2 I'm so tired. The Terminal 2 and 3 one. It's not one that we use for work. It's one that I've booked privately. And so anyway, I walked through the crew car park, out the turnstile, the other side to the bus stop, and the bus comes along and it's completely full. and the driver won't let anybody on. So I'm like, oh. Then the next one comes along 16 minutes later and it's exactly the same. At which point I thought, oh, sod this, and got an Uber to take me from the bus stop to the Premier Inn. I had dinner, and then I noticed in my room there wasn't an ironing board, which is annoying. So I rang down to reception to ask if I could ask for one, and it just rang and rang and rang and rang, and it rang for about 5 minutes, and I was getting a bit pissed off because I just wanted to get my clothes ironed and frankly go to bed because I'm really tired. And then I kind of thought, well, nobody's answering the phone, which is quite typical of Premier Inn, frankly. I'm going to just go downstairs and ask for one, and I walked out of my room, and there was an ironing board and an iron. So clearly somebody had used it and then just put it outside their room. Like, right, no, I'm having that. So I took it into my room, plugged it in, made sure it's working. I'm not going to do the ironing until tomorrow because I'm half asleep now. I'm so tired. But I've got an ironing board. I've booked myself breakfast tomorrow morning. Tomorrow is not going to be a podcast day, nor is the day after, so I'm having 2 days off the podcast. So you will find out where I go on my standby tomorrow, if indeed I go anywhere, when I come back on Sunday. Is that right? Thursday today, Friday, Saturday off. Sunday will be the next day I'll be podcasting. So, yep, having a couple of days off. Thank you for listening. I'll talk to you then. Bye-bye.
You have been listening to The Diary of a Wannabe Writer. For more information about what I'm writing, go to linktr.ee/Richard Writes, capital R, capital W, where you can find details of my website and social media. I may see you there.